and they called me from California. I was based in Louisiana. If I could come to California to help the Navy. The contract was finally awarded in 2012. It was awarded to 2 companies, one from Florida and myself from Louisiana. It was a set-aside contract. It was a great feeling. As a matter of fact, in Louisiana, the entire Louisiana state, including the governor, got to know about the award, and they were all very excited about the award, that somebody in Louisiana got this big contract. So it was very exciting. Apart from that, the Navy actually sent a crew of people to Louisiana to interview my engineers. They wanted to know if they would come to San Diego to come and help the Navy, and they gave all the affirmative answers that we are coming to help you guys. So we got the award. Then after the award, there was a big conference. It's called Post-Award Conference. Told me to come with my management team for a kickoff meeting. So it was a big hall. It was full of all kinds of people in the Navy welcoming us to the big contracts. And so we did the post-award contracts. In that post-award contracts, I went with my 4 top management team. And then eventually we got to meet Joe, Mr. Joseph Lockhart, who is a retired Navy captain and who had worked with the government for more than 40 years, who came to join our team.
And he contacted me when he was coming in for his post-award meeting. And we got together, and I thought it was a real good opportunity with my backgrounds working with shipbuilding programs, large ones, and maintenance programs, that this was a very good fit. And also the influence I had knowing some of the people back in Washington and in San Diego.
And they actually told me that, hey, we've been waiting. What jobs are waiting for you? We want you yesterday. Get yourself here. So I worked all through the Christmas in November, December. We got ourselves here in January 2013. All teams, we reported to the base to start work.
And then my first question is, okay, now that you're settled out here, when is the work coming to you?
They issued us ID cards. So we had photo ID cards. Everything was set. And yours truly, there was no job. They were not giving us any job. All you hear is, well, we don't have a job yet. We'll call you. We'll call you.
So we got together with the contracting manager for the small business contracts that we had. And I asked her, what is the work coming down the pike so we can plan on it? Well, she said she didn't know. And I asked, how can you not know? You said you had a huge workload. You forced these contractors to respond to you. How can they build new equipment within so many weeks? How can they hire and train new people to meet the huge workload you say you have, which has to have been based on experience? What it is those port engineers are supposed to take the work and refer it back to the Navy's contracting office here in order to award the work to be accomplished.
Until one day, when one of the people looking for jobs, subcontractor, came to meet us, and they told us, hey, you guys, you're sitting here. The big companies are doing your job behind you. And we said, no, we're waiting for the Navy to call us. They said, no, trust us. So we came to the Navy to know what's going on. They never replied the letter. Why were you doing the jobs behind us? Why were you not giving us any job? Why are you just keeping us there? They never replied. So Joe used his influence to get in touch with the senior port engineers,
who had worked for me about 15 years earlier. And I asked them, what is going on? Why aren't these people using a contract? He said, well, it's their prerogative. And I said this, you must be kidding me. How can you answer that question? You're the senior port engineer. It's your responsibility to advise them of these contracts when they get awarded, knowing that they're available and the type of contracts, because these contracts, these commercial industrial services, those are specialty contracts that the Navy has picked in different areas so that when they need specialty people at a lower price than going to the big shipyards, they use those contracts. That was the whole purpose of starting these contracts. And then I asked the contracting officer, a Captain Sanders, Joyce, why did you award these contracts if you're not going to use them? And I was shocked by her answer. She said, we just wanted to have you available if we needed you. That's a retainer contract. If you're willing to do a contract mod and make this retainer contract and pay us $100,000 a month to sit on our butts, but to pay the bills, we'll do that. But if not, you better look into awarding jobs for these two contractors.
In 2015, we started this fight. We have been fighting every day, and we told the Navy we are not going away.
I've been on the other side of the table most of the time. I've dealt with big private shipyards, I'm building ships. I've dealt with small contractors. I'm embarrassed, and I tell everyone when we have meetings, I'm embarrassed what the Navy's doing, because now I'm one of them. And all this stuff about small business is the basis of our country, I think is a big lie. It sounds good politically.
When we went through the chain of command, of course the contracting officers, they got instructions from above, so they could not do anything. It was order coming from above, they could not help us. So we escalated the fight all the way to the Vice Admiral Hillary, who happened to be the ComNav C in Washington. He did nothing. And then we escalated it to the then Assistant Secretary of Navy, Research and Development, Mr. Sean Starkley. He did nothing. We had many correspondences to them, and we told them at a point in time we are going to bring out all these correspondences because they were just useless. Then we got to the Secretary of Navy at that time, who happened to be Raymond Mabels. Raymond Mabels did not do anything. So all the lines, the line of command did nothing. As a matter of fact, during our struggle, we got in touch with the Navy Acquisition Integrity in Washington. And I formed friendship with somebody there. And he just told me, he said, Victor, he said, this says there's a stand down order on you. So you are not going to get any response, anything from the Navy. So an atmosphere of conspiracy, there's an atmosphere of untruthfulness, there's an atmosphere of lack of integrity, there's an atmosphere of credibility issue, transparency, all kinds. We got to the Armed Services Board of Contracts appeal, and we were trying to follow the due process. We saw that we were not going to get justice in ABSCA, so we now went to the Court of Appeal in Washington. The Court of Appeal said, well, you cannot come in to the Court of Appeal because you are not a lawyer. Hey, we don't have a lawyer. And this is part of why we are telling our story, that hey, the IDIQ that the government had used over many small businesses is gone. It's all a facade. It's all part of the game. Many of the companies that we interviewed, they've gone out of business. They are small business owners, and when we talked to them, they said, Victor, we can't fight the government. Government is too powerful. No, they are going to crush you. They are going to crush us. So they all left the fight. So nobody stood up to fight. And that's why the Navy thinks that they can take everybody, anybody for granted. I have gone to the three arms of government: the legislative arm, the judiciary, the executive. None of them have done anything. America talks about justice, but there is no justice. America talks about justice if you have money. America talks about liberty if you can fight your way, but there is no clear system. When I could not get any help, any solution through the three arms of government in the United States, I reached out to my country, Nigeria, to see if they could at least write on my behalf to the Secretary of State in the United States and initiate an investigation into my case. Unfortunately, I'm disappointed with Nigeria. Well, I don't expect much because we still have our own problems. But I went through the Nigerian Diaspora Commission. The diaspora is just for people who are outside Nigeria, who may be having issues or who need help. I went through the foreign ministry, I went through the embassies, and I did not get any help from them. So they were very disappointed. Now, I went to the African Union Commission, then headed by the ambassador, Dr. Arikana Kuo, and it's all about noise. So I have come to conclude that all of them out there, they are just cloud without water. They just talk, there is no strategy, they don't know what they need to do, and they continue to live in denial, the slavery denial. They cannot challenge the system, they cannot argue their issues out effectively, so they leave you in the water. Now, when the pressure was on from the Navy, I did not get a job for 4 years sitting on my seat. So I declared a force majeure. Force majeure that, hey, I'm not going to pay my landlord because my landlord gave me the piece of land on the strength of the contract. When you saw the contract, you said, wow, this is a big contract for you. Now, I did not get anything from the Navy. I was trying to get a momentum to get some people to stand up for me, but nobody did. So I stopped paying the landlord. I owed the landlord for only 2 months. He took me to court. The landlord took me to court, and Joe was with me in the court. As soon as I entered the court, you can see from the judge, it's like, you can win here. You, no. So we argued. As a matter of fact, he didn't understand what force majeure meant. So he went to check in his chamber and he said, hey, guy, you can do anything. We are going to auction your equipment. That's $500,000 equipment. So they auctioned the equipment, and guess what? They auctioned the equipment to those who lost to me in this competition. So they stole my equipment, they gave me a residual check of $2,000. And so I kept the residual check as part of my souvenirs. I never cashed it. But that was the experience that also now got me to become homeless in San Diego. But I was ready to go through the pain, and I was ready to pay the sacrifice because I have seen so many small businesses who have gone out of business, and nobody was able to stand up to the United States. And I told them, hey, we are not going away. We are going to get our restitution. We are going to pay all the consequential damages to my family, to my friends, because I never got money from anybody before I started this company. I started the company from my retirement money from Shell and from money and donation from friends who thought that they were going to support me to succeed. So I never got money to start this business. And that's why I could not declare bankruptcy, because it's not the bank money, it's my money. It's my friends' money, it's my family money. That's how painful it is. And that's how many people go through life in America. And we say we have justice, and nobody in government will come to your help.